Yeah, I want to highlight a thing that you probably might want to do if you're a DIY guy and you might say you want to do a little body work on your car, not to go too extensively on it and do too many cars, but they have is electric DA sanders, which means it's dual action. It does a circular motion and it does an up and down motion at the same time. Normally these are air tools. You want to use air tools if you're a pro, and if you're a pro you'd know this anyway, but it's electric right there, right? And they're so inexpensive. You know, I got a couple of them, actually, two of them, so you can just have one in each hand and really go to town, right? But it uses this type of paper, Velcro stick on, like this is a 60 grit, usually pretty typical stuff you'd use, 60, 80, or 180. And it's not a variable speed. This has a dust catcher, and you probably have to clean. You know, I don't see any area where you lube this or anything like that. I know with the air sanders, air tools, you want to like use a little Marvel Mystery Oil in them, you know, daily. But you just turn it on. It's got one switch, and this thing does cut fast. You can pretty much do everything with this, and you don't need to actually get a board sander, a long board sander, like an air tool. I got one on the way coming, but if you want to get the manual board sander, like in other words, if you have this, you have a grinder, and you have a manual board sander, you can pretty much do anything you need to. And this is good for people that don't have the air compressor to do the job. There's a lot of these air tools take quite a bit of power, and most people in a home, they got the 115 or 120 volt air compressors. They're not wired for like 240. And I'm going to show you like a couple air compressors I have. Even a small one will work with the, you know, high pressure, low volume paint guns. I mean, you're not going to get, well, it depends on how much time you take. If you do the preparation right, you take your time, you could still do, say, a semi-professional job, or maybe a professional job, depending on, you know, how much time you take. But a lot of people just don't want to invest in air tools, and these are handy because you could be anywhere. I mean, if I wanted to run an inverter, like down here, I got a, see that red thing? That's an inverter. I can actually run. I could power up these off that thing. It's like a 1200 to 1500 watt inverter. I could actually power one of these air tools with it, and be any place, running it off a car battery. So that's one advantage to the electric too, because sometimes you're not, you know, you're just not going to be a place where there's going to be air available. You know, I know with the inverter, it's almost like battery powered without having the disadvantage of, you know, the batteries having to get crapped out, you know, 18 volt batteries and stuff. And like these things are very handy too. You just stick them on, they just come right off. You know, it's just like, and I don't want to say I use this real lot, but I have used it. Well, you can see they've been used, both of them. You know, they've been used, and I haven't had any problem with them. So that's for people who don't have the air compressor. And so if you got a small air compressor, I just want to recommend it, because I know a lot of times people don't realize, and I don't even know where this is sold actually. I picked two of these up before, but with skill. But you know, if you're not going to be doing it, you know, if you're just doing one car or something like that, and you don't want to invest a lot of money, you definitely want this kind of sander, and you want a longboard sander. And you can get away with most of your sanding with this DA. So, you know, that could save you a lot of money. So if you don't have the air compressor, you got electric stuff available. I just want to show you what air compressors I got. I'm just a home user, but I got a couple of them. And the little one, I really couldn't use it for air power tools pretty much, unless it's like a roofing nailer, which I have. But for this, it would, if I had to air powered one of these, the little one wouldn't do it. Yeah, this is the little one I have. Actually, I think Cumble housing was a lot better back in the day. I use the hell out of this thing actually, and I use the I call this a squirt gun. This is like a fence. I got other guns though. I got a couple other ones. Nothing really professional grade, but that's for fences. But I did use the hell out of that thing. It's still good. But I got this one. You see, assembled in the USA. This one, if you're using a high pressure, low volume air gun, you should be okay with this. You should be okay with this. But you know, the advantage of it, it's really perfect for like a home user. Easy to wheel around. It's vertical, doesn't take up much room, and it's 115 volt. That's the big thing, you know. I mean, you really, if you're a pro, you want to go to 240 volt, but that's good for me. This is good for me. So I'm going to be using this with the board sander when I get that in, coming in pretty soon. But I just want to point out, there's a lot of different ways to get away with things cheaper. You can use a little compressor like this to paint with. If you got a high pressure, low volume gun, you're probably going to have to let it catch up a couple times. I know, but it works. It works. It'll do the job, you know. It'll do the job. So, but not with the air tools. Not with the air tools. This thing will not, unless it's like an air nailer, air stapler, something that doesn't use up too much power. This, you can get away with it quite a bit with this. Not as much as a professional compressor, but not too bad. But you know, this should power the board sander no problem. So anyway, I just want to put that recommendation out there. I think a lot of people aren't aware that there's electric DAs out there. I think they were only like, if I remember right, I think they were like 30 bucks each. I got them a few years ago, and I did use them quite a bit, and they work. They work. They seem to work just as good as the air ones. They're not variable speed, but they work.